The Feroz Khan bundle, the gold was the door, the network was the story. On the surface, it began with a gold case. A man was found with the possession of 75.9 grams of unwrought gold at Oliver Tambo International Airport. The criminal case that followed appeared straightforward. Tariq Downs as the first accused, Major General Feroz Khan, accused number 2, Major General Ahmed Kandwa, accused number 3. But the deeper investigators went, the less the story appeared to be about the gold. Guys, this whole thing is a strategy. It's a prosecution strategy. And this is exactly what Lieutenant General Mkwananzi has always been talking about.
I guess we cannot display our strategies in front of the TV, can we?
What strategies, General?
I can tell you, we're not going to sleep.
This right here, this is one of the strategies that they have employed to introduce us to one of the big five. I have read the whole 750-page Khan bundle, and I can confidently say this is an introduction to the big five. They have cracked it open. And on this recording, I am going to introduce to you the network as we prepare for his testimony at the Madlanga Commission. The real battle began with the devices, the phones, the laptops, the charts, the digital records. The questions are focused on the people who knew whom, who communicated with who, what information moved, what influence moved, who introduced who benefited. The name span multiple worlds: tobacco, politics, crime intelligence, procurement, organized crime, you name it. The bundle, in the whole bundle, the 750-page bundle, introduces a cast of recurring figures. And I am going to introduce them to you one by one. Each one name opens a new storyline. Each storyline leads to another network. Guys, it is sophisticated. Lieutenant General Khumalo has said the syndicates are a sophisticated network, and I can clearly see it from this bundle. The Commission's central question is not simply what happened to the gold case. They don't even care about that gold case, and that gold case is not on the questions that they're going to ask Khan. They're not going to ask him anything about that case. The central question appears to be what relationships existed behind the scenes where we do not see them, and what flowed through those relationships. The Regulation 10.6 notice functions less like a charge sheet and more like a network map. It asks Khan to describe his relationship, explain your communications, explain any information exchanges, explain any financial exchanges, explain any intermediaries, explain any assistance provided. The result is a document that grows far beyond the original criminal case. It introduces us to one of the big five syndicates. The gold case was the entry point. It was a bring your device case. The devices became the battleground. That is why Khan was running to the High Court to interdict these devices. The relationships became the investigation. Whether the Commission's theory ultimately withstand scrutiny remains to be tested when he gets on the stand. Whether Khan's explanations ultimately answer those questions remains to be seen if he shows up at the Commission. But one thing is already clear, like black and white. This was never just a gold case. The gold case was the door to the Big Five network. That is the story. The devices were seized. That revealed the network. We're going to start from the gold case entry point with none other than Major General Feroz Khan, the senior crime intelligence figure and applicant in the High Court matter. Feroz is a central figure whose phones, devices, data became the focus of the Commission's investigation. Nothing else matters to the investigation other than this case right now. Feroz claims the searches and seizures and transfer of his devices to the Commission were unlawful. So that's why he was trying to interdict it in the High Court. But I don't know why he decided to withdraw the case. He just decided. The Regulation 10.6 notice issued to Khan suggests that the Commission is interested in far more than the original gold matter. It appears that the connecting point between crime intelligence, Eriton, Mohamed Sayed, political figures, various criminal investigations, and a whole lot of other things. The Commission is asking, is Feroz Khan merely a witness to these events, or he is a central node connecting multiple networks? And I can confirm to you, after reading 750 pages, Feroz Khan is an upgrade to Sergeant Fani. And it's not even funny. Next person is Major General Ibrahim Ahmed Kandwa. He is a senior SAPS crime intelligence figure. Kandwa appears repeatedly alongside Khan. Wherever Khan is, Kandwa is right beside him or just right behind him. They are like twins. And Kandwa is part of the broader intelligence structure involved in the Eriton bust period. Kandwa's name appears whenever questions arise regarding intelligence ownership, narcotics operations, operational decision-making, who knew what and when. The key question about Kandwa is simply, was he an intelligence manager or part of a broader decision-making network? That's what the Commission needs to find out. And then we go to accused number one, Tariq Downs. Tariq, this is an interesting character. The criminal matter involving Tariq Downs appears to have opened the doorway wider to leading us to the Big Five. The original case is relatively narrow. It's a low-hanging fruit case compared to what has been found in the General Khan's devices. So was the gold case the destination? No. It was mainly the doorway leading us to one of the sophisticated Big Five syndicates. And after reading 750 pages, it's all in black and white.
Crime intelligence. The risk with that, which I repeat before this committee, is that the members of crime intelligence are going to be forced to defend themselves. And the only best way to defend themselves is to speak the truth. And when they come with the truth, majority of you will not be able to stomach it. This country is going to burn.
I must confess, I am one of those that could not stomach what I was reading in this 750-page Khan bundle. And now that I am back to face my fears, please press the follow button and share this content with your friends, and let's face these fears together. Moving on to the second bucket, the Sayed Nexus. Mohamed Sayed, a businessman central to the tobacco storyline, one of the most frequently mentioned individuals in this bundle. He works side by side with Khan. And that is scary. Their chats allegedly show extensive communication between the two of them. They appear to be connected to the Carnilix, which apparently is owned by Mohamed Sayed. Tobacco interests, political contacts, business interests, operational information flows. The Commission appears interested in whether the information flowed from SAPS to Sayed influencing policing priorities. We're talking about infiltration here. Sayed acted as an intermediary between business and political actors. Why does a tobacco businessman appear so often in intelligence-related communications? That's a question that Madlanga Commission has to answer. And then we have a person by the name of Shahid Sayed. I don't know if this is a spouse or a child of Mohamed Sayed, but she is part of a wider Sayed business network. Why she matters is because she appears in company and operational discussions. She helps establish the structure around Mohamed Sayed. She helps map whether Khan dealt with Sayed network directly or indirectly. The key question that the Madlanga Commission has to answer is that what role did she play inside the broader Mohamed Sayed network? Then we have Adriano Mazzotti. He sits right inside the Sayed nexus. He is a tobacco business network. His role is that he is a major tobacco industry figure linked to Carnilix and the broader South African illicit tobacco controversy. Why he matters is because the Commission uses him to show that Khan, Sayed, Julius Malema storyline sits inside a bigger tobacco politics ecosystem. We're going to talk about Malema because I read quite a bit. I actually read quite a bit about the Malema controversy in all of this. So I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'm just going to pack it and we're going to come back to it. And then the Annexure C has a whole bunch of names. I don't know who all these people are. There's an Adam Teams, Shahim Ishmael, Yassin Teba, Feroz Issei, Yusuf Kaji, another Hassan Mohammed. I don't know who all these people are, but they are listed right here in the Annexure C that Feroz Khan has to explain. He links to all these people. Now we move on to a completely different bucket, the political oversight channel. So in this bucket, we have the first person, Julius Malema. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here on Julius Malema because the social media reports have been here and there. It wasn't until I actually read this Khan bundle to understand exactly what Julius Malema's connection is to this. And I can confirm to you that Julius Malema can defend himself. And we don't need fighters wasting their energy trying to fight battles that Julius Malema alone can deal with. So, obviously, Julius Malema is a political figure appearing in the parliamentary question storyline. Why this matters? Because the Commission material suggests that the parliamentary questions may have been influenced by information originating outside Parliament. It appears the allegations so far are around Mohamed Sayed, Khan, Dintwe, and Malema sits right in the middle of it. The key questions is that were parliamentary processes being used to pursue intelligent battles. And this is one of the things that Lieutenant General Mkwananzi said on July 6th, that the syndicates have infiltrated all levels of government, parliamentary, the executive government, and obviously the SAPS. So with Julius Malema, I am only going to concentrate on two storylines. At the beginning of the recording, I said each name leads to a storyline, and each storyline leads to a network. And the first storyline that I picked up that involves Julius Malema, the first storyline is the one that we packed regarding Adriano Mazzotti. In the commission papers that were filed in the bundle, Adriano Mazzotti is affiliated with Carnilix. Carnilix donated 650,000 rands to the EFF to help it register a political party. The late Kyle Phillips of Carnilix, I think that's the original owner, apparently, allegedly, advanced 1 million rands to Julius Malema to help him settle his personal SARS tax debt. Mazzotti allegedly made his Senton penthouse available to Malema and his family to live in it. I don't know whether this arrangement was free or Malema actually paid rent for it. Crime intelligence head attended an EFF gala dinner. We've seen this in the picture, so that part is not disputed. But what we did not know is that the table that he sat on was sponsored by Carnilix. So Adriano Mazzotti's connection to Khan is not the same as the one that Khan has with Sayed, but he helps explain why the commission is so interested in Carnilix, tobacco, EFF, crime intelligence overlap. The commission's broader allegation is that Khan and Sayed's chats appear to touch on Carnilix, alleged tax evasion, and illicit tobacco. SAPS resources that are being used in these illicit activities. Confidential crime intelligence information that is being passed on to a civilian by the name of Mohamed Sayed. Political channels via EFF and parliamentary questions that EFF was posing in parliament were actually coming from this network. Why the commission cares? The commission is not, get this straight, the commission will never and will not investigate EFF funding. The commission is asking different questions. Why do tobacco industry figures appear in the same communication ecosystem as crime intelligence figures and EFF? Khan's bundle, the 750-page bundle that I read, places Adriano Mazzotti, Mohamed Sayed, Julius Malema inside a broader network that touches tobacco, politics, intelligence, and communications. Now we're going to go to the second story, the Dr. Dintwe story, the most significant allegations, and this one is very concerning. Dr. Dintwe is a former inspector general of intelligence. The commission alleges that the communications involving Khan, Mohamed Sayed, and political channels discussed parliamentary questions directed at Dr. Dintwe. The implication is that the parliamentary oversight mechanisms may have been used as part of a broader struggle inside the intelligence environment. That is why Dr. Dintwe and Malema appear in the same storyline. So I'm going to put this illustration here. In the chat messages coming from Mohamed Sayed, he wanted EFF parliamentarians to ask specific questions in parliament, and he sent them via text message. So this WhatsApp message coming directly from Mohamed Sayed via Khan to Malema in EFF, and they ended up on an EFF letterhead submitted to Parliament. So this alone is what we call influence, infiltration, and interference. And this is exactly what Madanga Commission is investigating. So why the EFF question to Dr. Dintwe mattered? The commission says the questions were allegedly designed to trap Dr. Dintwe into denying a relationship with Timi Marimutu, and then use that denial as grounds to demand his removal. The key alleged logic was ask Dintwe about Marimutu, expect him to deny it. If he denies it, accuse him of lying to Parliament, then push for his removal. That is why Khan's alleged message is so important. This should get him to lie. And in return, we can ask for his removal because he lied. And guess who was going to be championing his removal? It was going to be none other than Julius Malema. Why was Dr. Dintwe targeted specifically? Because Dintwe was the Inspector General of Intelligence, meaning he had oversight over intelligence structures, including people like Khan. The Commission's view is that the real purpose was not simply to raise a concern about Marimutu, but to remove Dr. Dintwe from an oversight position over Khan. Again, I repeat, this is what we call infiltration into the criminal justice system, interference, and influence that is being used by or via EFF. So I don't know if Julius Malema knew that he was being used by Khan. So this is something that Julius Malema has to explain at the commission. So I will end it there and leave it for you to think about this. That letter, that EFF letter that ended up in Parliament was signed by Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. So, yes, he needs to answer to who originated the questions and who delivered them. That's an unfortunate part, even if he's no longer with EFF, but he needs to explain that. And then we have Floyd Chivambo, former senior EFF figure, political actor linked to the broader VBS political protection storyline. Chivambo matters because his name sits in the same political ecosystem as Julius Malema, VBS, and the alleged political cover payments. In the broader public record, former VBS chair Matonzi alleged that money flowed to the EFF Malema Chivambo orbit in exchange for political protection and or silence around VBS. So how does this connect to the Khan bundle? He is not central to the gold case itself. He matters because the Khan bundle already raises VBS curator Anush Rupal thread and the alleged movement of information through political channels. Chivambo therefore belongs in the political oversight for that reason. The commission may be interested in whether information from policing and or intelligence channels intersected with political actors connected to the VBS controversy. So the real question is, was VBS related information moving through political channels for protection, pressure, and or influence? Moving on to the next bucket, organized crime. The commission was not only interested in the powerful, it is also interested in the people who connected the powerful. The names that I'm going to introduce to you appear to function as a potential connector between intelligence, politics, business, organized crime, information. That is why these names are very important, and that's why they appear in the regulation 1060. And they are not necessarily the center of the network, but they are the bridges inside the network. Brown Mohotsi, the political fixer, intermediary, and recurring network figure. And Brown Mohotsi seems to be in all kinds of networks. But anyway, as for why he matters, his name appears in multiple unrelated investigations and controversies. That alone makes him interesting. The commission is not asking, do you know Brown? The commission is asking, what was the nature of your relationship with Brown Mohotsi? Did he ask you for assistance? Did he ask you for information? Did he ask for intervention? This is all on the regulation 10.6 that has been issued to General Khan. That wording alone suggests the commission already believes that there is an active relationship. So there is no way that is going to come here and say he doesn't. And then, while the commission cares, the concern appears to be whether Mohotsi acted as an intermediary, facilitator, problem solver, a conduit between networks. Key question, was Brown Mohotsi merely a conduct? Or was he a bridge between political, criminal, and law enforcement worlds? We already know that Brown Mohotsi has infiltrated the SAPS. So let's wait for his testimony. Next person on the list is none other than Vusi Kate Matlala. The role, he's a businessman currently facing very serious criminal charges, and his trial will be starting in July. Unlike some names in Annexure C, Matlala is not simply a businessman. He is currently a central figure in a major criminal prosecution. The commission asks, did Khan assist him? Did Khan communicate with him? Did Khan share information with him? Did Khan assist companies linked to him? Those are the specific questions that are on the regulation 10.6, as you can see. Why the commission cares, interested in this is whether there was direct contact, indirect contact, information sharing, operational assistance. And the key question that Khan needs to answer is, what relationship existed between a senior crime intelligence official and a criminal named Kate Matlala? Next on the list is Matipandile Soteni. Guys, the accused, Matipandile is already accused in a separate high-profile criminal matter. Like I said, Lieutenant General Kwananzi has a prosecution strategy, and you can see that they are circling around all these names. So, Brown Mohotsi is already denied bail, staying in jail. Kate Matlala is going on trial. Matipandile denied bail, stealing bail. All these operational figures, people that were connecting people to one another, they are locked up right now. So let's move on. Matipandile Soteni is not a tobacco figure, a politician, or an intelligence official. If the commission wants to know, Khan has to explain the relationship he has with him. That means the commission believes the relationship itself is important. While the commission cares, the issue appears to be communications, meetings, information exchanges, assistance. The key question: why does Matipandile Soteni appear in the same network map as tobacco businessmen, politicians, and intelligence figures? Then we move on to Serge Kabonge. Serge Kabonge is a serious criminal that is hard to catch. He's an operational criminal network figure he is deep in organized crime. Kabonge appears to occupy the organized crime side of the map. His significance is not fully explained in the Khan bundle. I didn't quite find out exactly why, but he is on Annexure C. Here, right here. Annexure C, his name appears there. While the commission cares is because of the communications, relationship history, assistant, and exchanges. What role did Kabonge play in Khan's network? I am curious to know. Next name, Wandrea Pretorius. Rest in peace. The bridge figure between EMPD, Ekurhuleni, and this Mohamed Sayed ecosystem. No wonder this guy just decided to give up and commit suicide, because he could just see that they are being rounded. Pretorius is one of the most important connectors in the entire bundle. His name appears across EMPD matters, Ekurhuleni matters, Mohamed Sayed related communications, business relationships. Unlike many people in the Annexure C, Pretorius appears in multiple storylines. The commission appears interested in whether Pretorius acted as an intermediary facilitator or a network connector. The key question is that why does Pretorius keep appearing wherever business, law enforcement, and political influence overlap? Why? Next name on the list is Marius van der Meer. Witness D is in the same Pretoria storyline. Marius is important because he appears to be one of the people placing Pretorius in the commission's narrative. He helps establish relationships, communications, and events. And in Marius' testimony, General Khan's name was dropped. And it didn't make sense back then, but it does make sense now. His evidence helps explain why Pretorius appears in the bundle and why his name was dropped, why General Khan's name was dropped. The key question is how much of the Pretoria story originates from Marius' evidence. And then we have Mashazi, the luxury London trip. Yes, it's in the Khan bundle. For some reason, Khan and Mohamed Sayed were exchanging flight details of this particular trip. Social media says the money originated from XET, the Kaaba company. Zig was used as a broker to make the payment to Oxy Aviation. This has been widely reported on media, so I won't dwell on it here, but all I can tell you, it is right here in the 10.6 regulation issued to Khan. He needs to explain it. This, Z Numalo is also listed in the annexures as one of relationships that Khan has to explain in detail. So that's all I'm going to say about that. The regulation 10.6 has a long list of questions regarding the Everton drug bust. What I found very interesting, there is a name, Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke. This name came up several times with the other witnesses, and in particular, they are listed here in the 10.6 regulation. This name is not one of the loudest names in the Khan bundle, but he may turn out to be one of the most important names. Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke is a senior narcotics investigator associated with SANEP. Maluleke appears in one of the most important parts of the Regulation 10.6 notice. The Commission specifically asks Khan whether he has knowledge of attempts to fabricate evidence, attempts to alter evidence, attempts to suppress evidence, attempts to present evidence favorably during the disciplinary proceedings linked to Eriton. And Malulege's name appears directly in that context. That is not a casual question. And now, for a lot of people that have been wondering why Lieutenant General Mkhwananzi exonerated Khan in the disciplinary hearing, this is the answer. The evidence presented in front of him was fabricated here in such a way that he had no other alternative but exonerate him. And now the commission is going to bring forward the name of the person that manipulated the whole disciplinary action so that Khan can be exonerated. Moving on. Maluleke stands out. Most names in the notice fall into the three categories: politics, businessmen, intelligent figures. But Malulege's name is different. He appears in the intersection of SANEP, Eriton, inquiry files, disciplinary proceedings, evidence management, or evidence manipulation. Why this matters? One of the biggest unanswered questions in the Eriton has been who knew about the shipment before it arrived in Gauteng? Because from the testimony we have looked at, intelligence existed before the seizure. That is a fact. Information came from Durban. SANEP appears in parts of the story, yet SANEP does not appear to have visibly run the operation. The operation was run by the person named Nku, Tumelo Nku. Maluleke potentially sits inside that gap. What the commission appears interested in: did Maluleke investigate the Eriton drug bust? The notice goes further. The commission appears interested in whether evidence was manipulated, evidence was withheld, evidence was altered, disciplinary process was influenced and infiltrated. So, yes, Lieutenant General Mkhwananzi was taken for a ride. Oh my God. The question is directed at Khan because Khan was the senior crime intelligence figure during the Eriton period. The commission is effectively asking, what do you know about Malulege's role in all of this? What do you know about the disciplinary process? What do you know about handling of the evidence? Why this is a bigger than one person? If the commission is asking about Maluleke in the context of fabricated evidence, altered evidence, suppressed evidence, then the real issue is not Maluleke. The real issue is what happened to Eriton narrative after the seizure. We have always been running with the narrative that the Eriton cocaine bust is about the drugs that moved, the story that changed. The seizure was real, so was the chaos. And the chaos keeps being more chaotic. And if you want to know more about this Eriton drug bust, please press the follow button and go on my profile because there's a lot of recordings that are related to this story. So for now, we move on. Procurement, National Treasury, and tenders. This bucket is a different kind of influence, not narcotics, not gold, not politics directly. It is about whether business people were trying to use access to senior SAPS officers, Treasury linked officials to influence government tenders. This is explosive. Fuad Udemans, linked to Cyberia Technology Private Limited. Fuad appears in the Cyberia Smada Treasury contract storyline. The WhatsApp chats refer to a meeting with Fuad and suggest that the meeting would be pointless unless pilot attended. The commission has established that pilot refers to Lieutenant General Dr. Molefe Fani. The commission appears interested in whether Khan and Sayed were discussing or facilitating access around a Cyberia contract connected to National Treasury. Was Fuad simply a Cyberia business contract, or was Cyberia being drawn into a wider influence arrangement involving Mohamed Sayed, Feroz Khan, and senior procurement linked officials? Then we go to none other than Lieutenant Dr. Molefe Fani. Currently, he is the SAPS Divisional Commissioner, Supply Chain Management. I think he's suspended from that role. But before he came into this role, he was working at the National Treasury. That is why he is in this conversation. The affidavit says General Khan and Mohamed Sayed referred to Fani as pilot. In the charts, Sayed says Khan to check whether Treasury official Bobby Mackey is a friendly force, and later asked about Fani pilot meeting MTN. Are you guys following? This places Dr. Molefe Fani in the middle of an alleged procurement access storyline. The commission appears to be probing whether senior procurement pathways were being discussed through private channels. Private channels lead to infiltration. Cyberia Technology. This company is involved in the Rules Engine project. The draft Cyberia Smada MOU says Cyberia has been awarded a contract by National Treasury Office of the Accountant General for development and implementation of the Rules Engine project. We need to talk about this Rules Engine project later. Right now, we're just going to pack it. I'll come back to it. The MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding, also defines Cyberia and refers to confidential business and software information, including source codes, customer lists, and financial information. Was Cyberia merely pursuing implementation of a treasury contract, or was someone trying to monetize access to government decision makers around that contract? Smada, the proposed facilitation business partner vehicle, this Smada. The draft MOU says Smada has a close business relationship at the highest levels of South African government and the private sector, and would facilitate introduction meetings and presentations to ensure implementation of the Rules Engine project. The commission characterizes the draft arrangement as appearing to be a thinly disguised kickback arrangement for improper facilitation services. Oh my God, I'm overwhelmed, guys. I am so overwhelmed right now. Was Smada a legitimate implementation partner or a vehicle for selling access? So now we go to the money issue. This is the most explosive part. The affidavit says Mohamed Sayed discussed a proposed 200 million contract and said they would get about 92.4 million, 30% split three ways. The affidavit, this can bundle, makes it says it's unclear whether the third person was Dr. Fani or someone else, but it's definitely three people: General Khan, Mohamed Sayed, and the third person who is suspected to be Dr. Fani. That is why this procurement bucket matters. The commission is not just looking at a tender, it is looking at contract value, access, facilitation fee, split three ways. Who benefited? Thank you for sticking it out with me and facing our fears. Now for the summary. The Khan bundle. The gold was the door. The network is the real story. The devices were seized. The Big Five syndicate was also revealed. That brings us to number 3. The commission is mapping a syndicate, not a single incident. The bundle repeatedly touches on Mohamed Sayed, Adriano Mozzati, Carnilix, tobacco disputes, General Khan. This suggests that the commission believes tobacco industry relationships may intersect with crime intelligence and political networks, especially the EFF. Whether that theory is correct remains to be tested, but clearly a major commission theme has been formulated. The Dintwe story is about power, not questions. And then we have the Ayrton drug bust. That story is still very much alive. It is breathing. The commission is still asking about it. They're still looking for evidence. They're following up on the disciplinary proceedings. And Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke, that one. And then number 8, we have the Mashazi story. That is all about influence and infiltration into the government systems. And then we have the procurement story, which is about access. The Cyberia section is not about software. It is about Fuad Udemans, Lieutenant Dr. Molefe Fani, Cyberia, Smada, and the National Treasury. And then the Annexure C may be the most important page in this bundle because it contains politicians, tobacco figures, police officers, business people, crime network figures. The commission is effectively saying, explain your network. That may be the single most important question in the entire notice. So, see you on the next one.